you very much, my lords and my lady. I deal first with the question of the barcode that was raised. And the first... I deal first with the question of the barcode. The barcode was not an issue raised in the petition to begin with, but having been raised, this is the explanation. Number one, the format of the forms prescribed under the Election General Regulations does not require a barcode. The format of that particular form, that's number one. Secondly, that barcode, as we are made to understand, was limited to Form 34B. Thirdly, it was not in the prescribed requirements that the IBC sent to the printer. It was an innovation originating from the printer themselves as surplusage. That's number three. Number four, the question was one, and this was dealt with at the scrutiny which I attended yesterday night. It was the question of using the wrong reader. So that if you used your phone, and everybody has some of these phones sometimes, you came up with a different result. That was the fourth response to that particular issue of the barcode. And so the issue raised here is really a red herring as refers to that barcode. And fifthly, these were the same forms transmitted to the National Tallying Center and inspected by all parties prior to the declaration on the 11th. But to come back to the question your ladyship asks about the six ballot papers, it is indeed correct that the format of voting is that you're given all 6 votes, and you walk into your booth and you take them. Now, the regulations, however, make provision for an item known as a stray ballot. There are many ballots that end up in the wrong ballot box. The regulations call them stray ballots. These are to be distinguished from a rejected ballot from a spoiled ballot. The same regulations require that the presidential election be counted first. And so that by the time the results are being streamed onto our screens and being counted, all the other stray ballots have not yet been counted because they're in the other boxes.
Mr. Macharia.
Yes, Your Ladyship.
You're making the assumption that the voter votes for whatever candidate it is they want.
Yes.
And when putting, and that's an assumption.
Yes.
When putting their ballot box in their ballot papers in the box.
Yes.
For the candidate they have voted for.
Yes.
They would put all 6?
No.
That's the only way.
Yes.
A stray ballot would arise. A stray ballot is one.
Yes.
Which is put in the wrong box.
Correct.
So even though it is correctly marked,
yes,
it is dropped in the wrong box.
Correct.
My question is this.
Yes.
Where a candidate, where a voter collects the 6 ballots.
Yes.
Because the assumption is we will be given all 6.
Yes, you're given all 6.
And you want to vote for only one candidate.
Yes.
Where do the other 5 ballot papers go? It's a very simple question.
That's what I answered, Your Ladyship. That the law, and I think the regulations actually make it quite clear, that even having been given the 6, and even with the color coding that the ballot boxes have and the ballots themselves have, room is still created for what Your Ladyship correctly called the stray ballot, which is a correct ballot placed in the wrong box. Now, when you look at the regulations and you retire to do your ruling, you will find that those stray ballots are kept in a separate envelope by themselves, according to the rules. Yes.
Mr. Macharia?
Yes, my lord.
You are still not answering the question.
Yes.
You walk into a polling booth.
Yes.
You're given 6 ballot papers.
Yes.
So you decide, as you may decide,
Yes.
that you'll only vote for a presidential candidate.
Correct.
That leaves you with 5.
Yes.
Those 5
Yes.
are not stray.
No.
They are unused.
Yes.
You've been given 6,
Yes.
but you have elected to use only 1.
Yes.
That leaves you with 5.
Yes.
What we are asking,
Yes.
where do those 5 go? How are they accounted for? It's a simple question.
Oh, yes.
They're not stray.
No, they're not stray.
They can only be stray if they have found themselves through in the wrong ballot box.
And that's the point.
Okay. So they're not stray. So you still remain with 5.
Yes.
Where do you put them? You carry them away?
No, 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 no.
How are they accounted for?
No, and that's the point I'm making. You vote. You vote for 1, and vote for the 2nd, and vote for the 3rd. You have 6. Yes.
Now, see, this is a
You tip all of them, then you go. Yes. Let me explain again, as I understand the process.
Order. Order, please.
I could allow one of my colleagues from IBC to do it, but I could. They are more conversant with that process, but yes, yes.
Please, my lord. The question that the court poses, my lord, the simple answer is this. There is a need, when you're given 6 ballot papers, you need to mark each and every one of those papers with your choice of the person that you're voting for. If, however, you elect to only vote for one person, the other ballot papers which do not indicate who you've chosen to vote for, if they are still put in the box at the point of counting, because you have not indicated who it is that you are voting for, becomes a rejected ballot. So that's a rejected ballot because it has not indicated who it is that you voted for. So among the rejected ballots, you will find the difference between the two. Because the purpose of a ballot is to indicate who you voted for. So if you don't indicate, it will most likely still be put in the ballot box, but since it will not have indicated who you voted for, it becomes a rejected ballot, not a stray one.
Very well. Okay, wind up, Mr.
And so, yes, my lord, and so that was the explanation for that one. The final point I think we wanted to make was a question raised there by our colleagues and brothers from the petitioners. With the question of the votes for Nyando. That question, your ladyships and my lords, is dealt with in the affidavit of Winnie Gosho, and these were the 60,000 votes that my colleagues said were missed out of the Form 34C. The proviso to Regulation 87, Subregulation 4, entitles the second respondent, where the difference in votes not yet arrived does not make a difference, to still declare the results. The exact percentage of that vote from Nyando in Kisumu, sorry? Regulation 87. There's a proviso. This is the proviso to Regulation 87, Subregulation 4. The exact percentage difference that Nyando made, and it still counted, was 0.39% of that vote. And so the second respondent was entitled to do so. I end by calling your attention to an accusation made against the third respondent on the question of the President's delivery unit, or what's known as the delivery portal. Again, your ladyship and my lords, I call your attention to the affidavit of a gentleman known as Andrew Wakahio, signed and sworn in response to the affidavits of Dr. Nyangasi Oduwo and Olga Karani, and to paragraphs 100 to 120 or so of the affidavit of Winnie Gosho, and to the constitutional provisions set out therein as regards the duty of government to account and to deliver information to its people in a timely manner as to how it's spending their money and to what it is doing. Unless my lords and your lordships have any further questions for us, we reiterate our plea to you to dismiss this petition and to do so with cause.